What are your responsibilities? Do your educators have the skills and knowledge for the NQF? Don't get qualifications confused with NQS or the Modern Award because they're very, very different. Whilst deconstructing the NQF, I looked at the NQS compared to a Certificate 3 in Children's Services delivered by an RTO such as TAFE or a private provider. Looking at Cert 3, Element 4.3, maintain direct contact with individuals and groups. NQS, the assessor may observe children being supervised in all areas of the service by being in sight and or hearing of an educator at all times. 4.4, identify potential injury, hazards and risk and take action to minimise or reduce the risk. NQS, remove all identified hazards immediately and secure the area to prevent children from accessing hazards. Cert 3, ensure interactions are frequent, caring and respectful. NQS, interactions with each child are warm and responsive and build trusting relationships. Cert 3, make available appropriate resources, material and equipment for children to initiate their own creative activities. The NQS, from the early years, children are confident and involved learners. And the element, 1.1.2, initiating and contributing to play experiences that emerge from their own ideas and interest to their satisfaction. Except for Quality Area 7, which is Leadership and Service Management, and some of Quality Area 1, Educational Program and Practice, a Cert 3 should have been taught most of the elements that directly correspond with the NQS elements. So our wonderful diplomas have even more knowledge compared to our fantastic Cert 3s. And when we have early childhood teachers, they should have another higher level knowledge built upon all of that. So what should we expect from our educators? And how can we change our educators' practices? Because it can no longer just be a tick and flick system. Lynn from Little Legends Early Learning Centre from Queensland once told me a horrendous story. 12 years ago, a centre that she managed was next to a pub. After the children had their rest time and they came out, a child had found a needle in the back play area. The child then came over to the educator and then proceeded to put the needle into their mouth and pricked the top of their mouth. The child was okay. The educator said to the child a few days later, said, "Why did you do this?" And she said, "Because Mum and Dad do it." And they go, "What do you mean Mum and Dad do it?" Well, that was the way their mother and father gave the child their Panadol through a syringe. So that was the last time Lynn used syringes within her centre to administer children's medication. But the moral of the story is here that you need to do your checklist with meaning. From this, Lynn decided that she would find some toy syringes and some toy dog poo. She would dig it into the sand pit with a laminated sign onto it. And the educators who were doing the checklist, if they didn't find the dog poo or the needle, they were given a written warning. And that's what I mean. You need to do things with meaning. It's not just a tick and flick system anymore, because it's not just the paperwork, it's your everyday practice that they'll want to see.